Okay, I think we are live. This is Jonathan Keller with California Family Council. Outside of the Capitol building after a very long, very contentious hearing on AB 2223. This is the infanticide bill that we have been warning you about for weeks. It had a hearing with the Assembly Judiciary Committee today. So we're going to bring you some very brief updates on this. First of them today is our good friend Katie Glenn from Americans United for Life, and she has a flight to catch. So this is going to be a shorter video, but Katie, I wanted to first off thank you and the team at AUL from coming out, bringing people, and sharing about this bill. Can you just tell us very quickly your testimony, your impressions of the hearing, and just how you thought everything went inside there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great to be here. I am a born Californian, so good to be back on the West Coast. And it was great to see so many California pro-lifers out at this hearing. I think we outnumbered the other side 20-1. And the other side was all organizations. It was businesses that make money off of abortion, whereas our side was churchgoers, it was individual people, it was families, kids, a lot of young kids, college kids, who are all there not because they have anything to gain, but because they want to stand for the youngest Californians. And that's what I was really trying to get across in my testimony, is that these lawmakers have decided that they don't want to protect the youngest Californians, but the people in the state oppose that.
I think that's absolutely true. It really was striking that when they had people in the audience testify, I think beside the two expert witnesses, it was 3, maybe 4 people that were organizations, whereas it was over 100 plus of people that were in strong opposition. And that doesn't include the phone testimony. I think I counted maybe 3 or 4 people on the phone. So even when they're talking about this bill statewide, if all you have to do is punch a few numbers on the phone, this bill is not popular.
Well, and I got replies to my tweets saying I was on the phone queue and they cut me off. So there were even more people who didn't get to testify who wanted to. And the lawmaker said, we've had enough. We don't need to hear from anybody else.
And I think, folks, this is, though, I'll tell you, even though this is discouraging, and spoiler alert, they did pass the bill. It was a vote by our count, I think, of 6-1, all the Democrat legislators voting in favor. There were 2 Republicans that were out of the room, but we assume they will be voting no. And the 1 Republican who was in the room did vote no as well. I will say it is discouraging to see this bill pass with every Democrat in support, but I also think it is so important that Katie was here, that Susan, who you're going to hear from next, was here, because we cannot just become a doormat for the abortion industry in California. We cannot roll over and let them walk over us with 0 opposition, with 0 pushback, and with 0 challenging. And I will tell you, it takes a lot for me to feel sympathy or empathy for some of these strong, hardcore pro-abortion activists. But even looking at Buffy Wicks, the author of this bill, I don't know that I've almost ever seen anybody look that defeated, that discouraged, and that just gross on carrying this bill. And I think, Katie, this is why before we started, we had a prayer vigil. It is so important that we remember this is a spiritual battle. It's not just a legal battle, but it is a spiritual battle.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it was great to have so many people. It was a little bit awkward for the committee woman. When Susan finished her testimony, we could hear in the hallway all the people they wouldn't let into the room cheering for her, and I wasn't sure I was ready to, go yet until the cheering was over and the committeeman was like, get on with it. So you could tell that the Democrats who had already made up their mind in support of the bill didn't want to hear from people, and that is why it's so important to get out to your Capitol, to call and email your local representatives and let them know you care about this, because even though they voted to continue the bill through the process, which we hoped that they wouldn't, they cannot pretend that they don't know that Californians are opposed.
That's absolutely right. And we'll be sharing a lot more on our next video about the next steps. We already have some big plans for just 2 weeks, so stay tuned. If you're watching this on Facebook, please cross-post it, and we will share the next video shortly. But for now, Katie, thank you so much. God bless, and we'll be in touch soon.
Always great to be here.